hear here about a missing child?
Adji Desir is 6 years of age.
He was playing in the yard.
He cannot communicate verbally.
Outside his grandmother's home.
She says she saw him, she checked on him out the window.
He's 3 feet tall, 45 pounds.
And then the next time she looked out, he was gone.
With black hair and brown eyes.
Vanishes into thin air.
We're isolating all the trash that was collected.
I feel like my life is almost over.
We're searching the sexual offender database.
I'm sure she feels a lot of guilt.
We're making sure we don't leave any stone unturned.
Marie Nita says she believes her little Adji is still alive.
I would give him hugs.
More than 200 tips have come in.
I would kiss him. I'd say I love you.
None turning into significant leads for investigators.
I'd put my hands in the hair. I'd say, thank you, Jesus.
We are taking your calls tonight. We are focusing in, honing in on a 6-year-old little boy, Adji Desir. Both of his parents work hard. He's staying with his grandmother. She looks out, checks on him. He's in her yard. 15 to 20 minutes later, she checks again. He's gone. He is mentally disabled. He has the mind of a 2-year-old child. He cannot speak English. He understands some words. He speaks broken Creole. He cannot communicate verbally. Where is Adji? And what does it mean that your child is in your yard? 15 minutes pass, they're gone. What does that mean, Mark Class?
Well, it could mean any of a number of things. You see, there are so many scenarios that are possible in a situation like this that it just leads law enforcement in so many different directions. What they need to do with this case, and I have to say, Nancy, with a difficult child, I just can't see somebody taking this child and continuing to raise him. My suspicion is that probably Adji is no longer with us. But law enforcement has to go in so many different directions. There's family to look at, there are neighbors to look at, there's the terrain itself. My goodness, what a difficult and rough terrain that is, difficult even for law enforcement, not to mention a little boy. There's the possibility, certainly, of somebody just coming and snatching him. It's an extremely difficult case, and I'll tell you, the triangle of trust is a hugely important concept in missing person cases, and it's beautiful in its simplicity. It was first coined by the Laura Recovery Center in honor of their own daughter, Laura Smitherd, who disappeared some years ago, and it simply means that law enforcement, the community, and the family all trust in each other to do the right thing.
Let me go back to you, Sergeant Ken Becker, Collier County Sheriff's Office. Where exactly were both parents when Adji went missing? I'm sorry, I can't hear him. I'm trying to go to Sergeant Ken Becker. Sergeant, can you hear me? Okay, we'll get that straight. Gee, do we know where both parents were?
Mother worked as a nursing assistant in an assisted living facility, and she was working. Now, we know the stepfather worked at a pizza parlor as a dishwasher, but according to the sergeant, it appears as though he wasn't working that day, was at the home periodically, but had gone home to his home for a few minutes to only return and find Adji gone.
Alicia lawyers Kirby Clements and Raymond Giudice, both defense attorneys out of Atlanta. Kirby Clements, you're a former prosecutor. Where do you advise police go from here?
Well, I would recommend that they actually start looking at some of the schools on the off chance that a third party took him, and schools that specialize with kids with his type disability. Is there some child being educated right now that doesn't have a birth certificate? If we assume that someone took him, although we also have to consider the possibility that it could have been wildlife. I wasn't sure about what type of wildlife was in that area. Are they near alligators? Are they near some sort of big cats out there? What's that about? Because that also is a real concern. And if that's the case, law enforcement is not going to find anything. Sad.
What about it, Sergeant Ken Becker? What is the wildlife possibilities that he could have been attacked by an animal, alligator, crocodile? What can you tell us?
Well, Farm Workers Village in Immokalee is right on the northern edge of the Everglades, so there is a lot of swampy area. There's a lot of alligators in the area. There were alligators in ponds around Farm Workers Village when we were doing the search. There was a panther that was hit by a vehicle. just south of Farm Workers Village about a week after the search was completed. So there's a lot of wildlife in the area.